Okay, and now this thing is recording. It is recording. It is plugged in. The green light is on that thing, and it's plugged in. One time, this ran out of batteries, which was terrible. Welcome. Who are you?
I'm Dan Girouard.
Do you have a middle name?
Yeah, I don't like to say it, but it's Bernard.
Bernard?
Yes. Daniel Bernard Girouard.
Okay. I can see the apprehension there. Yeah. Okay. Let's start with we just finished. Normally I don't say the date, but today is March the 26th. We just finished the icicle bicycle ride in high winds. Do you, like we just said, we would have avoided that ride, right? You would have probably stayed home.
I would have stayed on the trainer, yeah.
Okay.
20 mile an hour winds going out and 24 miles an hour winds coming back in, and it seemed like it was always against us.
Right. I was waiting. I think there was one section, a small road. I think there was one moment where we turned on. I think it was when we were coming back towards Hermitage. I think it was like, yeah, I think we're going to have a tailwind here. And I think there was a small moment before the road then turned another direction and we no longer had the tailwind. But we made it. We tried the soups. What soup did you pick?
I picked the chili.
The chili? Okay.
Yeah, I tried 4 different soups. They were all good.
Okay.
But, the chili, I think.
You think, okay. I only tried the gumbo and the chicken noodle, and I actually did not place a vote. I probably shouldn't have just said it, but I did not place a vote. But I'm a fan of the gumbo. And for anyone who's listening, if you happen to get a chance to taste Johnson's gumbo, I do recommend it. But how did you get started riding?
Well, like a lot of people, my dad brought home a bike when I was a little kid, about 7 years old.
Okay.
It was a used bike.
Okay.
He said, "Here, try this out." He put me on it, held me in the back. There was no training wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Pushed me down the street, and that was it. He went inside, and I actually I was really fascinated by it. And I spent a whole day learning how to ride it. And
really?
By the time he got back home from work the next day, I was riding a bike.
You're proficient.
Yeah.
It's no training wheels. Okay. All right. Now, you rode that bike occasionally? You didn't become immensely like you didn't start racing or something at some young age. Okay. You just kind of rode occasionally.
I rode that bike a lot and even ended up riding it to school. And then as I got older, they bought me another one, and because I got bigger, obviously.
I assumed you grew.
But that bike cemented my love for cycling.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was this thing about speed and just being outdoors,
Yeah.
Of course, back then we didn't have a lot of electronics and things to keep you inside, It was, you either went outside and did something or you didn't do anything at all, I guess.
So you got the bike. You say you took the bike you got a different bike. They got your new bike when you went to college, high school? Which one?
It was like junior high.
Okay.
Back then kids used to ride their bikes to school.
Mm-hmm.
And, nowadays it's they're trying to encourage kids to ride their bikes to school. It's amazing because when I grew up, golly, if you didn't get there early enough, it was hard to find a place in the bike rack,
I'm trying to think, is that the first person who's mentioned that they would ride their bike actually to well, no, somebody else did tell me they rode their bike to school, but it was someone younger, and that's because they lived so close, and that's why they did that.
Well, you had the option. I grew up in Colorado, Fort Collins, Colorado, and it was a rural area. Mm-hmm. So you had the option. The bus would come and pick you up during the wintertime. Obviously, I took the bus, but during the spring and summer, man, a lot of people rode the bike.
Yeah,
and nice. I did in high school. Of course, I didn't get a car till later. And
when you went to, eventually you mentioned you went to college. Did you ride then as well, or?
That's a good question.
Oh, okay.
I actually bought a touring bike.
Okay.
And I rode from Fort Collins, Colorado to Greeley, Colorado to go to college. And that's 35 miles one way or 70 miles round trip.
Okay.
That got me, and then I loaded panniers up with my books.
Okay.
And I would, ride there and and that really got me in shape. And then that's what really spurred me to want to race. And so I raced from 1979 to 1983.
Wait. The ride to college, was that like you rode every day?
Yeah.
Or every day that was at 35 miles.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would get you fit, and hopefully you made it on time to your classes.
Oh yeah. Well, I leave early in the morning.
Yeah.
It used to take me about an hour and 35 minutes to ride that 35 miles, and maybe a little longer.
Right, it's panniers with the books and
it was just a great thing. I obviously didn't do it when it rained and didn't do it during the wintertime, but I've been caught in the rain several times. And out there in Colorado, they get these little burrs in the road. So, these little thorn type burrs. It's from this weed.
Okay.
And they cover the road during the springtime.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot of flats. And let me tell you, I learned how to change flats real well.
As a skill that hopefully everyone gets, but never really needs to use regularly. So you did ride when you were in college, and you
and I raced. I
raced.
Raced from 1979 to 1983.
Okay. Do you recall like one of your early races?
Yeah, it was Fort Collins, Colorado. It was the very first race I had, and I raced it on my, believe it or not, I raced on that touring bike. I didn't do too bad, but it was, it was real exposure. But back then, cycling was really taking off. It was this is Colorado.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard Davis Finney or Lexi Graywall, who was the gold medalist. Davis Finney, Connie Carpenter. I grew up with a whole bunch of people that were really stars. They went on. Davis Finney was part of 7-Eleven.
Okay.
Lexi Graywall, I raced with him. He, of course, he did a lot better than me, but he's a gold medalist in the Olympics. I knew a lot of the guys that were on the 7-Eleven team.
Okay.
And back then, too, they had the Red Zinger Classic, which was really the predecessor before the Coors Classic and then ultimately the Colorado race. But I used to go hang out with these guys in the tents in between, the crits and things like that, or afterwards. It was, nice. It was really an interesting time.
Nice. Did you train for that racing, or did you just your just normal riding kind of kept you in the fitness?
No, I did train for racing when I was racing.
Okay, at the time. Okay.
And I was part of a club, Spring Creek Velo Club.
Okay.
And the club would take you in the van to the various races and things like that.
Okay.
We would have club rides. Even in college, I used to ride with a lot of other racers from other teams.
So, how'd you make your way to Virginia?
Well, after I graduated in Colorado with a master's degree in urban regional planning with an emphasis in economic development, there weren't too many jobs there. So I went to Florida first.
Okay.
Never been out of the state. It's like you go there, you see the ocean. This is wow, I'm going to go see the ocean. Well, I was on the Atlantic side. Yeah. Not pretty water. It's just green. It's not like the Gulf side. It's it's crystal clear. Mm-hmm. Plus, when you're a young guy, when I moved there, I went to work for Brevard County, Florida, where the Kennedy Space Center is, and I was hired to do the economic element of their comprehensive plan. Okay. But there were no women, and your chances of getting a date if you were under the age of 18 and over the age of 65 were pretty good. But in between, not so good. So I stayed there for a little while, and I actually left that job, and I went to work in Dallas, Texas, for the city of Dallas as an economic analyst. Okay.
All right. So you rode in Florida, I assume you didn't.
When I got in 1983, I got a bone spur.
Oh, really? Okay.
And took me off the bike, and they had to shave my heel and everything like that.
Wow. Okay.
So I was off the bike for a little while, and I got back into riding. 84, 85. By then, I was like, I got off of it. I was trying to figure out what I'm going to do for a career, because this is back in the 80s and things were just the economy wasn't doing good, unemployment was high, and I got tired of doing manual labor jobs for $5 an hour.
Yeah.
So I went to graduate school
Mm-hmm.
and took 2 years to do that, and then really focused on my career for a while. And then it wasn't until I came here to Virginia in 1993 that I started thinking about cycling again. I always kept my bike. I have a custom-made racing bike.
Okay.
However, it's nothing like the bikes they are today. So I ended up really 10 years ago getting back into cycling, and I found Raba online, doing an online search.
Okay.
And that's how I got started.
Okay.
But soon after that, too, I started wanting to do century rides and stuff like that because I was really getting into cycling again.
Had you done a century prior to, like before?
I used to ride when I was racing. I was riding 10,000 miles plus a year.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So I'm not. I knew what it took to.
It's just it's just been a little gap between.
There was a gap.
Okay.
It was about a 30-year gap. But yeah. But I also got married, and my wife is my soon-to-be ex-wife is not into cycling.
Okay. Not every partner is.
Yeah.
It's
Got to find the one that really likes cycling.
Yeah, that's a hope for people. That they're into the things that they're into as well. Say it that way.
And it's a balance. I like right now. I ride between 5,500 and 6,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
And I started doing that 10 years ago when I started again.
Yeah.
My first year right out, I was doing 4,000 miles, and then the next year was up to 5, and then it just kept going up.
Okay, so you had a gap in years, right? A gap in time. You focused on your career, which sounds like you locked down.
Yeah.
Came to Virginia. You found Raba. How did it feel to get back on the bike? Did you get back on, and were you, if you recall,
I had the skill sets.
Okay.
I mean, I knew how to handle a bike. I just had to buy a newer bike. The one I had was steel. The way they got the geometry and things like that are different back then than they are today.
Okay.
Plus, back then we didn't wear helmets. But no, I bought a bike off of eBay, a really nice one, CAD 10.
Yeah.
And because I knew what type of bike I needed to look for. But no, I started riding. I met Wesley King on a ride in New Kent when I was riding, and then, like I said, I just he encouraged me to also. He mentioned Raba too, so that it's really important to have that support. I really think being part of a club is a wonderful thing, because you can meet all different people, all different levels, and you can enjoy the sport that way.
That is true. It does make it vastly more enjoyable with others who enjoy it. They're out there, they're getting their rides and enjoying that as well. Do you recall your first century ride? I know that wasn't in Virginia. It sounds like you'd had one in the past.
My first century ride? Oh, no. I used to do that. I could go out ride 80 miles or so just in training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't think twice about it.
Okay. Different question, or a little different. So you were racing, and I'm guessing you're not. How to put this? Do you miss that being that race level fitness and the race life? Do you miss that some?
Yeah, I miss being that fast. It's different now. I've had several injuries over my course of the years, and I'm not capable of getting to that level again. But I am also turning 64 here in a couple weeks, so I enjoy really trying to better myself. It's not like I want to be. This sport is so humbling because there's always somebody better.
Yeah,
and I just try to be good. Try to hang with the fast guys and enjoy it as long as I can.
Okay, all right. So you do any off road? You just rode?
No, I do gravel.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
I do a lot of gravel.
Right, because y'all
I've
were
done
doing the
bike
doing
packing.
the bike packing.
And I do just gravel rides too.
Okay. When did that start? When did you start doing off road, or was that always
3 years ago?
Okay.
No, I tried. You know what? When mountain biking first got started back in the 70s, I tried it.
Okay.
But those mountain bikes back then are nothing like the mountain bikes you have today. So no, I never got into mountain biking because you get hurt and too easy. And it's a totally different skill level.
Mm-hmm. I do think it requires some better bike handling skills.
Well, it's not better. It's just
it's different. Maybe
different, totally different. Yeah, the bike is different. The things you have to do on the bike are a lot different, and it takes practice. I was never committed to mountain biking.
Okay, but you gave it a whirl.
Yeah,
you gave it a whirl. How you feel about the gravel riding then?
Love it.
Really?
And because it does use a lot of the same skills you do on the road. However, you have to learn how to gauge the surface, or riding on sand, riding on loose gravel, big gravel, dirt. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to handle it. Well, going downhill on a washboard, I mean, you got to be really attentive to what the feel of the bike is.
Yeah.
You're more in tune with the feel.
I'm trying to learn that now because I'm 4 months into gravel, having a gravel bike and being off road, and I am trying to get more accommodated. So as you mentioned, how can I handle the bike? How should I handle the bike now that's like on sand or chunkier gravel, that kind of thing. When this won't be your first bike packing trip, will it?
Third packing trip in Virginia. I did the. You can actually go online and look up Trans Virginia on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I myself, Ken Ashworth, and Keith Van Wiggen rode from the Lincoln Memorial all the way to Damascus, Virginia, 540 miles on the Trans Virginia route. I'd have to say 68% is off road on gravel roads, mountain passes, things like that. And we did that over 6 days, and there's 38,000 feet of climbing. But but that's actually a race. And the guy that won it last year finished in 2 days and like 4 hours. It was just crazy. Yeah, crazy.
Not considering that's gravel. Like, I mean, even if that had been road, that's a huge feat for that person to have finished in that time. A humongous feat, 2 days and some hours. My God. How'd you like that first that first bike packing trip? Were you like, I'm going to do this all the time, or was it like?
Yeah, I love bike packing because it's like a lot like touring. However, bike packing is more off. Like I said, you get bike touring. You're on roads, smoother. It's more predictable. Bike packing is not. You're out there. You have more opportunities to get to places that are more unique than being on a road. And so it's a beautiful, the countryside here is just beautiful. Virginia is absolutely one of the most beautiful states.
And I'm guessing you slept outside on those.
Huh?
You slept outside on those?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Can't.
It's a full
side of the road, or we get to national parks and things like that. However, on this last trip, we did one night at a cheap motel.
Okay. All right.
Just so we could wash our kits and
okay.
And get a good night's sleep. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have all the right equipment on that first bike packing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pre-planned trip.
It's pre-planned.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Although I have upgraded my equipment.
Okay.
For this next trip, because you learn that you buy cheap. But then you realize you got to buy a little bit. You got to spend a little bit more money to get something a little bit better.
Stuff. Yeah. Particularly once you know you're going to do that again, as opposed to like just the one time. It makes more sense to get the better stuff. Why do you keep riding? Why do you keep doing it?
It's that's a good question, because I think there's a lot of people that start riding and then they just quit. Even in the club, you see people come out for a year or two, and then all of a sudden they just disappear.
Yep.
I think the ones that really do it and stay with it, I think it's in you that you really, it's a pure enjoyment. It's just being out there, being outdoors. It's the rush that you feel in your body. You don't need drugs or anything like that. I mean, and the camaraderie. Cycling with a group is you work together. It's really a team type environment, and it's a great way to make friends because I go to other states for vacations. I bring my bike.
Okay.
And so the bike community, wherever you go, is very friendly.
Yeah.
And they welcome you and, hey, come on, let's just ride,
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing.
Awesome. And I was going to ask about that as well. If you take, I tend to ask people, do they take their bike with them on their non-cycling vacations kind of thing? And it seems you have.
Well, that's because I like it too much. Like, really, I do.
Yeah.
I just, to me, a vacation is cycling.
Okay.
We go to the beach and stuff, and I went with, again, before I'm getting divorced here, but the family vacation, I go out early in the morning to take a bike ride.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the evening, I'll go out and ride with a local bike shop or a local club early in the morning. You go down to Myrtle Beach, they got a club that rides out of there at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. You go down to South Carolina, there's clubs out there that ride in the evening. So.
Okay. Do you have a preference of time to ride? Say it's summertime and the weather's great.
I'd prefer doing it early in the morning if I can, but during like work week, I work down in Hampton, so I ride with a lot of local groups down there, and they ride in the evening. They take off at 5:30. Okay. Just like up here, Robert rides out of Crump or Hanover Courthouse or whatever. They're all in the evening during the week.
Okay. Any overnight rides?
Well, other than bike packing, no.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, just curious how adventurous the riding may have gotten, but the bike packing sounds adventurous enough. What do you take with you on a ride? Like, what do you take with you today? What'd you have with you today?
I had, sometimes on a 40-mile ride, generally, you don't have to stop. So as long as I got enough water, I carry enough water bottles with me, and then I carry gel, and then I carry a little bit of, like a brownie or something like that. Not a brownie, but these are like fig type things. Okay. They're organic. I'm not eating a lot of sugars. Okay. It's just not good for you. And then during the summertime, then I'll have some salt tabs. Okay. I have more food with me. Yeah. But I usually generally start eating about 10 miles in. Eating if especially on a long ride. Like tomorrow we're doing 60 some. Yeah. So I got to eat and I'm hydrating. So keeps you from cramping. And
has that changed over time? Like what you take with you on a ride? Like has it always been?
Sure. I always look for something different. Like these gels I'm using now. Yeah. From they're called E-Gel, and I forgot the name of the company. They're out of California. E-Gel. But the thing about them is they're not full of sugar. I get a lot more in the packet, and the calories are really good, and it's easy on my stomach.
Ooh, yeah, that's important.
And then, like I said, I got to eat some carbs, hard carbohydrates, so I generally eat that too as well. But the gels I usually save for maybe the last 20 miles.
Really? Okay. Yeah. You start doing the gels. Okay. Do you use Strava? You use Strava
every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Every the only thing I don't post is my indoor training rides on Strava.
Really?
Yeah. Because I don't want other people to know what I'm doing.
Then I mean, if your reason is yours, right? So it doesn't matter, but I find that entertaining, and I understand that some people who race don't show their numbers. Right? They don't publish their numbers out there. When you train indoors, like are you just riding like a classic trainer, or are you smart trainer?
No, I have a smart trainer. I have the Trax Neo 2.
Okay.
and I use Trainer Road.
Okay.
And Trainer Road, I think, is just purchasing, or there's talk about them purchasing Zwift.
Oh, that would be. I feel that would be unlikely, but that would be interesting.
No, actually, was a news article out there recently about that. In fact, where did I find it? I found it on DC Rainmaker.
Yeah, I see that Zwift Premium or Trainer Road merger ad in speculation. I shall look into that more. That would be a benefit to both companies. With Zwift, we won't say lacking, but not the greatest when it comes to the training aspects of it.
And if they can quit the cheating too,
that's unlikely. It's unlikely. It's unlikely because someone who wants to cheat will figure it out. As long as it's computer program, they will figure out a way.
But I
to do
hate
it.
getting on those Zwift rides, and I get dropped like in the first 5 seconds. I mean, it's like, then what's the point? I mean, it makes it so unfriendly. So that's why I like Trainer Road, because it gives you a set program and it's more intuitive now. Mm-hmm. So not only do you do your FTP test and stuff like that, they give you they tell you what you got to do, and then and as you progress, they change up your plan, so you don't have to go like a lot of these programs you have to pick a plan. This one it's sort of custom made for you.
Really? Okay. Okay. So I'm guessing you've done races on Zwift, or you've just done like just a group
Well, I
ride
tried first
events?
off when I got on Zwift. When I first started Zwift, I just tried it.
You just
Zwifting.
rode it. Yeah, you just Zwift. Yeah, sure.
Then I went to a couple of events and just
You got dropped.
got blown out. I mean, first 5 seconds, and you can't tell me those people aren't cheating. I mean, just give me a break.
So,
Either that, or they're all young and weigh about 2 pounds.
So okay. Some explanation with Zwift, and I will close this window because I feel this cool breeze. And I will talk about it. It's truly live here. Either way, so with Zwift, there's have you heard of Zwift Power? First, there's just like regular events, right? Just like today, we just did a group ride kind of thing. And then they have like races on Zwift, which are official races.
I've done that.
Okay.
No, I've not done that. No.
Okay. So what happens on Zwift is that at the start, because you're sitting in the race pen,
Right.
people are already cranking out, 200, 300 watts. So when the banner drops, they're already at full speed. And so that's the thing that's unrealistic from real racing. Like people, so that's the thing that people learned, and I don't know when, that they realized like, oh, I could be cranking out top speed, and then when the start banner opens, you just shoot out there, and that's how a lot of people will not be able to keep up with a race, because they realize everyone will just shoot out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm blown. My heart rate's just getting blown out in the first 5 seconds. It's like,
so. Not trying to say you should go back and try that again, but just saying that's the thing that people don't realize when they do events or races, is that people know that, and then they go full speed when the banner drops, and start forming groups immediately that are going top speed. But again, just convey it. Do you have any favorite events you've done around here in Virginia?
I'm really liking the 1725 gravel grinder out of Loudon, Virginia. That is a great ride. I mean, the roads up there are just amazing. The gravel is different than they lay down around the state. It's not just just dumping gravel. This is a different gravel, and that event is actually to help raise funds to preserve those
roads.
Gravel roads, because these are some of the first real roads in the country. They go back way back, and it's a beautiful ride because you have these stone fences. I mean, a lot of these farms go back, early 1700s, and So I love that. I love doing Stormy Thunder Ridge is a lot of fun. There used to be a ride called Mountains of Misery.
Mm-hmm.
Did that once. I really enjoyed it. I wish they would have brought it back again, but that's been down now for 3 years, and that's not coming back.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of it. Things have cycles.
Right. Yeah. Yes, I also remember Mountains of Misery, and I did not get a chance to go out there to do it. And I do plan to return to Stormy of Thunder Ridge. Talking about the event, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Friends are going, and then I know when I get there, I'm gonna be like, why did I sign up for this again? But if you're going, I'll see you there.
Yeah. Well, if you really want to, Mountain Mama's a lot of fun. That's usually held in August, and it's out in Monterey. That's a tough ride. That's 2 states, 3 counties, and 9 mountains, and 10,000 feet of climbing.
I will look at that and see, because I've also heard the Mountain Mama, but I've not, I don't have a point of reference. Like how challenging would that be? Where's my fitness level going to be at? And I just need to look at that again and probably feel more incentivized to actually give it a whirl. But as we talk about events and different places, you manage the Cycling Virginia website.
Yes, I do.
Tell me the start of this, because clearly you know about events and things like this. So clearly, explain how did the progression of this thing to its current state. Where did
this is the 4th year for Cycling Virginia website. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, 5 years prior to that, I met a gentleman by Matt Fisher.
Okay.
Matt's living in North Carolina now. He's a
Fisher.
really good rider.
Mm-hmm.
But I had started putting a list together of all the century bike rides in Virginia. Matt said, "Hey, I got a Facebook page. Why don't you post it on my Facebook page?"
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Okay, we'll partner up." So I ended up creating the list. So basically, I started going out and searching for all the century rides in Virginia, and I used to put a PDF together and with the list of the rides.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first year I did it, and then we posted it on a Facebook page. Well, the second year I said, I can make this thing better. So I started putting links to registration pages, videos, if I could find them.
Okay.
Then that was the second year. And by the third year, I said, what? People are going to probably want to travel there. So I put links to visitors pages and things like that. So people could say, well, that looks interesting. So they didn't have to dig around to try to find, well, where do I stay? What else can I do there?
Mm-hmm.
So out of that, by the 5th year, I said, there's so much more to cycling in Virginia than century rides.
Yeah.
And I'm originally from Colorado, so everybody thinks Colorado is like this, mecca for cyclists. Well, let me tell you, Colorado doesn't have anything over Virginia. Virginia is, look, I was there in Colorado when the Worlds were there in the 80s.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And then I was here in 2015, and I actually worked the
23rd Street climb.
Oh,
yeah. Man.
As a volunteer. So that was really a lot of fun.
Nice.
But no, I said, okay. So I said, I'm going to create a website. So what I did is I did a lot of research on everything. So the website lists everything about cycling in Virginia. You got BMX, you got century and fun rides. Now the fun rides I include family rides,
mm-hmm.
Cyclocross, gravel, mountain, and road racing.
Yep.
And it's not just the events. I include a lot of the information. In the case of the BMX, I don't try to list events because each track is different. But I do give you the link to the track.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And BMX is really a big sport, and a lot of kids get started in BMX and then move on to road or gravel or mountain.
Okay.
And racing. The century rides have always been a standard, obviously, in the fun rides.
Mm-hmm.
Cyclocross, what I try to do there is I don't try to compete against the state organization.
Okay.
But I will have to tell you, the cyclocross group and the racing group here in Virginia, they do a lousy job of maintaining their website.
Really?
And I do a better job of it. But no, I list those organizations so you can find links on there.
Yeah.
And then same with the racing page. Although this year they aren't posting anything on their website about the road races, so the only place you can find them is on my website.
Really?
Or Bike Reg. That's where the only place you can find road racing in Virginia is on my website or Bike Reg.
What? I wonder if that's an actual choice, but okay, all right.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time doing the research.
Yeah.
And I put a lot of information again about Virginia's like the 9th most bike friendly state in the country. That's on my homepage. Then I list clubs.
Yep.
So you can go in there and find clubs, and then you can get the links to clubs and their social media pages, as well as if they specialize in just road, or they do road, mountain, and gravel. So that's in there. The other thing that's really important about the site is I have links. The links page gives you everything about different trails, gives you links to all the trails,
Yep.
gives you information about bike packing or other guides if you want to do.
I see that the bike packing, biking in Roanoke.
Yeah, and then I even list. I've got what took me a long time to do and put together is American manufacturers of bike products.
Ooh, okay.
That's there. I do have to update that site because there are more products that are out there. People have let me know over time, but I've
seen U.S. made cycling products.
Yeah, it's really, that is probably the biggest piece of work that I have to do on that.
Okay.
It's very difficult to keep up with that.
Yeah.
But if you were like to, click on like the gravel page, it gives you all the information about gravel, where to ride, gives you links to other sites that talk about gravel riding and adventure riding and so forth. And then it lists the upcoming events. And that's the same with each page. I give you a lot of information about that topic.
Mm-hmm.
If you just go in there and click the ride,
Yep.
like century rides or gravel rides. But if you click events, you're only going to see the events.
Okay.
But I figured, okay, people will come to the site, and the only thing they're going to be concerned about is going to the events.
Right, yeah.
So I gave them a quick, easy out for that.
Sure.
I have some advertisers you can see on there.
Yep. I see a few.
I've worked very hard to try to get them. I sold my ads for dirt cheap. It doesn't even cover the cost. I spent a lot of money. I designed everything. The layout, the logo, the colors.
This is functional. Yeah.
Everything how it functions, I did it all with the exception I paid a company. I wrote it all out how I wanted it done. Mm-hmm. Did all the content. Yeah. And I hired a company to build it for me.
Okay. Nice.
And so they did that. It's Arc4. They did an excellent job. Also, all the photos here are from Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I paid for some. Others were just go ahead and take them. And then, it was just it was a hobby. I've got a lot of money in it, and the advertisers, believe it or not, do not cover the annual costs. Really? To maintain the site, I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, right. That would be
because I'd like it to break even. That's the goal. Just, as long as it breaks even, I'm fine with it.
Okay, so I'm going to comment on this. Excuse me. The U.S. made cycling products. This list is extensive. For anyone, as I talk to listeners, if you click on the link for the U.S. made cycling products, it opens up a document which has a list for accessories and then the many brands that sell the U.S. made brands of accessories. Then the apparel and accessory brands, which is an extensive list, 30, almost 30 there. Bags, baskets, panniers, and racks, another extensive list of almost 30 names. Bike packing and camping gear, a nice list there, and components. Handmade bicycles, another portion of that list. Shoes and custom, semi-custom accessories. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. But that's I understand that that's a labor. That's because that's finding those products. and then having to put them here in a way that like I can click on one and She Best, and it shows the She Best website, and I can go to that. That's fantastic. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, and the other thing is when I list an event, if you go to the events, it's not. It not only describes the event, but again, it gives you a link to the community it's in. My background is in economic development. I understand the importance that a lot of these events have, not only for the communities that they are hosting in, but the organizations, because most of the organizations here are nonprofits trying to raise money. I try to give a reason why you should go try this place out. That's the other thing. The site really was created to encourage people to take advantage of all the different places in Virginia to ride.
Yeah.
Because every place is different. And the terrain here is just, if you're really into the mountains, there's a lot of events in the mountains. Yeah. If you like to ride the flats, you can go all the way out to the Eastern Shore.
Oh, yeah, right. It's pancake flat out there. But this is great. Yeah, looking at the looking at the events, and it's got it by month. I can see in April. I think I just clicked on the Century Rides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events. I think here I might be doing the math wrong. 7 events that are listed here. That's actually pretty good. And I can see as the months go on through the middle, like they're getting longer.
Yeah, my most popular pages are Century Rides, followed by the gravel page and mountain biking. And actually this year, there are more mountain biking events than there are Century Rides. I mean, there's just a lot of
Good. Okay.
Oh, mountain biking here is just amazing.
Is that a case of you found out about more this year, or just like you think
it's just
grown? It's just brand new, a lot more new events and things.
Yeah, a lot more events. Of course, there are some standards that have been around for years.
Sure. Yeah.
But no, there's more events. There's a lot more. I think there's more interest. There's a couple of companies now that are coming into the state of Virginia.
Okay.
Organizing these events.
Okay. I guess I will ask now. Can I, when I describe the episode, can I put a link into your website?
Please.
Okay.
Cyclingva.com.
Yeah. Because this is great. Because I do recall looking at, I want to say the Facebook page, and remember seeing a list of the rides when I started. And I remember because I was looking for events.
I did that on Century Bike Rides in Virginia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was why I slipped and said Century Bike Rides, because that's what I recall there, is seeing those events, because I was looking for, I had created a calendar of events that I could possibly do in the year, and I think I did pick 1 or 2 off of that list.
I don't get too much feedback from customers, or people that actually use the site. I was in a bike shop the other day, and because I have these cards I print out and I try to leave them at bike shops.
Mm-hmm.
The lady, the salesperson behind the counter said, "Oh yeah, I had this young man in here, and he showed me the website and was showing me all the events he's going to do this year." And I was like, "Well, thanks for that made me feel really good,
to see someone that's actually using it."
Yeah.
That is I solicit for positive feedback, but I think it's worth sharing, because you could find out what's working, what people are. Clearly you can see the statistics, but just because someone visits the thing doesn't mean that they found it the most useful. But getting that feedback would be to be good to know. Well, anyway, I'm giving you that feedback. I clearly found events on there, so I found it useful. So thank you for doing that.
Sure, I got last year I hit almost 60,000 unique visitors. So this year I'm on track actually to go well over 70,000. And of course, the majority of the people that come here go to the site are from Virginia, but they go all over the United States. If you look at the heat map from because obviously I use Google Analytics, I don't track who you are, but it does track
roughly where the user is. Yeah,
and we get them up people from Canada, because we get a lot of Canadians here to vacation.
Yeah,
and so other people from other states come here and they ride events, and things like that. And a perfect example of that is the Shenandoah Valley Fall Bike Festival. There's people from all over the country come for that.
Yeah, they hear about the leaves and stuff, and I'm sure they're like, I want to see the leaves in the mountains.
Sure, it's just like going to Vermont, but this is all about this. The other thing about this site, it's all about sports tourism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Virginia is a very healthy state. Again, people think Colorado, California, blah blah blah. Tell you what, Virginia is a very healthy state. There's a lot of, road race, people run.
Yeah.
There's a lot of runners here in this state. There's a lot of cyclists.
I don't know why, but yes, there are runners. Yes. I see you have the list an event tab here. How does that work?
Thanks. Yeah. I wish people would use it. I get a few.
Okay.
Most of the time, I have to.
You have to go find.
I have to go dig it out, and that's just it's a monumental task because the one thing I got really good at with Century Bike rides in Virginia was the fact that most of those sites, so several of the sites, only had proprietary registrations.
Okay.
So I knew about them now, and I have a list. I keep a list of everything I have on the site. So every year I can go back and check. Mm-hmm. Also, I use if you go to Bike Rag, and there's a lot of other sites that list events, and basically what the people are doing is just using them for registration purposes.
Yeah, right.
My preference is I don't want to just give you a link to registration. I want to link you to that website that's for that event because they tell you the better story. I'm just giving you a snippet, and I'm encouraging you. Here's a link to tourism, so you can see where you can stay or what to do.
Yeah. Yes, in the case of like encouraging cycling tourism of Virginia. Then it definitely sounds like a better deal to link someone to the event website as opposed to like, here's just how you register. Like you can go to the website and see more about the area, where potentially your registration fee is going to contribute, like what thing that is. So, which I think helps, particularly when you can't attend an event and you realize you paid anyway. It is nice to know that there's some charitable organization that will be benefiting from your unused registration.
Well, I think the biggest challenge I have I'm working on a paper to help people do a better job of marketing their events. Really, it's amazing. A lot of people think too. A lot of these when they first have an event, they think, a lot of people show up. Mm-hmm. Well, it takes a lot of work to because Stormy Thunder Ridge didn't just overnight have 700 participants every year.
No, it did not.
But Paula Dahl did an excellent job. She really, that's truly one of the big events every year. Mm-hmm. But I always encourage people that they really need to be marketing outside their region because what you have, if you keep looking close by, is fair weather friends, meaning they're going to wait to the last minute to check the weather. But people are coming out from 3 hours or beyond. Right. They're going to make reservations. They're going to be looking for other things to do in the area because they're going to travel in. Mm-hmm. And I say that's the group you've got to be marketing to. Right. And so one of the best ways to do it is use my website to make friends with other cycling clubs and market to the cycling clubs first and tell them, look, I'll give you a special for your group, so people from Reston can come all the way down to Bland County, Virginia, and things like that. And then you'll reciprocate. Yeah. So locally, you're going to promote the Reston Century or something. And so I'm saying just leverage that. And the other thing is to contact bike shops out of the area. There's a lot of other things, other techniques you can use. Facebook is not the place to market. I mean, sure, you got to do it. Right. But it's an avenue. But it's not, a lot of people are abandoned Facebook. It's an older crowd. It doesn't hit the young guys. You got to do Instagram. You got to use a few other social media sites as well. And Instagram is mainly you can put a poster up. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Put an image up that has something up there pretty quick that people can see. I also have to figure out like how to put the podcast on Instagram in some kind of way, but I've not figured out the marketing because I'm not trying to market it, but I'd like more people to listen. But it's a thing I have to consider as well. And I think yes, you're right.
in the case of, there's just get someone to come to the event. But then there's also that additional benefit of you're coming to the event, you're coming to this area, right? And all the things you can partake of, when you're in that area as well.
And I want to encourage these groups to work with their local tourism offices on these events, their economic development office. When you bring people in from out of the area that haven't been there before, that's an opportunity to maybe bring a business, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. And you know what? A lot of these entrepreneurs aren't are basically working out of their home or a small office, and then hey, maybe they want to relocate.
Right. Which is the thing to think about, and all the small business that contribute. Because when I did Stormy of Thunder Ridge last year, we looked around. Like we went to a restaurant. Did we go to a restaurant? I believe we went out to eat. I feel like we went out to eat. I might be mixing up years. But we went out to eat. We went out, we found stuff to do, in the area, because we were there for 2 days. 2 days, the day before and the day of the event. And you're right. If people out of the area, right, you're right. They're going to make reservations. They're going to eat somewhere. Maybe they're going to shop. They're going to see what else is there as opposed to just do the event. So it does, seem better for the area, seem better for the event to let them know, it's not just register for the event. It's you're in that area. What else is there? So that's awesome. I'm glad you're able to incorporate the economic development.
Sports tourism,
right?
buddy.
Sports tourism in there. How much time does this thing take? Let's go with per week.
Per week, I almost every day I have to search for events because they'll pop up, and so I spend several hours looking through a lot of my lists of things that I go through.
Yeah.
And then even I have that written list of events where I contact the people when they say, well, okay, it's going to be on such and such a date.
Yeah.
Well, I generally don't post it unless they have up on their website or there's some registration link that I can post it to, because I don't like to put, I will not put events that are not, you can't register for.
Okay.
On the site.
All right. Okay.
Because it just gets people in because I've had, I tried that earlier.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, no, we can't have it. And I'll tell you, some of the reasons are they can't get enough volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get enough funds to cover some of the basic costs. So, or they couldn't get permits or something like that. And
so if they've got like a registration page of someone that indicates a larger
happen.
level of commitment. Yeah. If that's happening. So that makes sense.
But I'll spend several hours. The busiest time of year for me is from November through March.
Okay.
And then after that, it's sort of just maintenance. And I'll spend maybe an average of 5 hours a week.
Okay.
After March here.
Okay. Because then you're getting all the events that are coming back.
Well, they're already in, because if you're not listing your event now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because people are planning, they're like me and others, they're planning out their year, right, and they're trying to figure out the events. And if you don't have it out months, potentially a half a year, 6 months out, then they can't, the cyclists can't include it in the schedule, or it'd be harder to get in their schedule.
Yeah. But if you look, the busiest months are April, May, then it's dry in June, July, and August because it's so
hot. Yeah.
Hot. And then September is just
it's huge.
And my advice to all these organizations is when you get a date, claim it and keep it like the second week of October or the, claim that and
stick with it forever.
Yeah. Because the calendar just gets jammed. Like there'll be 6 events on a day.
I think the middle of September, like that second week of September, I think that's a busy one because that's when we have Heart of Virginia, and I think there's a few other events. I remember a bunch of them were like.
You can't even register for the Heart of Virginia. I don't understand why they do that. Why don't they open up if they post a date? Why aren't they opening registration?
You can register for Heart of Virginia now, can't you?
No.
You're right. You're right. They give a date and then prior to you being able to register for it. But I want to say you can register for it now.
No, at least I have a link there. I haven't gotten to the link that's posted.
Oh, it's Heart of Virginia Council. That's not where I wanted to go.
Raba.org, and then they got Heart of Virginia there.
Yeah, I will look at that later, but I want to say if they can. Heart of Virginia.
No, they don't have. You can't register yet. I don't think you can register till April or May.
I shall look into that later. She started the site.
Now, and that's the other thing. If you're going to delay registration, a lot of people will at least tell you what the when registration
right,
starts.
when the date is open. Yeah,
Robert doesn't do that.
I will bring that up in the board meeting. I will bring that up in the board meeting.
I brought it up to Greg Elmer, and I've tweaked him a few times in emails. But that board's interesting. That's all I can say.
I will bring that up and see if there's at least. Oh wait, nope. Here we go. Heart of Virginia Bicycling Festival. 20 days until early bird registration. Wait, early? No, you can register. You can register. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can register.
Well, you must have took my.
You may have taken your advice. Your words.
Yeah, okay.
Words had impact. But yeah, I'm looking at the site and it says 20 days until early bird registration ends, which is April 15th. So for anyone listening, I encourage you to register for the Heart of Virginia Bike Festival, which happens on. Don't let me mess up the date. The middle of September. Go with the middle of September 17th to Saturday. Early bird registration ends on April 15th.
And they changed the route too, which I really liked. I like this newer route.
That's right. They did change the route. Was it last year they adjusted it, I believe?
That was the first year they tried it out. It's a little bit more friendly for some riders that are not as physically fit.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm looking at a picture on this page. I actually remember this guy. I remember this group riding. I remember this group because I remember this guy. So I actually remember this group riding. I want to say that was 2019, I believe. Anyway, so what's coming for the website? Like what's in the future? What would you like to do with it?
Well, I'm trying to get more advertisers, and I'm really trying to stick to Virginia companies, but I'm not having any success. Some like the clothing companies that like Starlight and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't want to advertise. And then basically, look, I told them, look, I understand you've got the market tied up or,
Right.
But what you're doing is this is a sponsorship. I mean, my advertising rate for 5 pages is only like $100.
Okay.
I mean, give me a break. Where are you going to find advertising that inexpensive? Plus, basically what you're doing is you're supporting cycling in Virginia.
Yeah.
And I can't get them to do that. And so what I'm trying now, I'm looking at national. I tried Trek, and a lot of these big companies they don't they don't give a hoot about my website.
Yeah, right.
So I'm really trying to. I've got to get this site to pay for itself, and I don't want to go out there and say, people, if you're not giving me money,
there
ain't going to be a site. But I'm doing this for a while.
Yeah.
I paid for 3 more years to keep the domain name, so I'm going to do at least 3 more years.
Okay.
But if it can't start paying for itself, it may come off.
Right, because of the time, the labor, the cost of it. Yeah, I
don't mind my time. I'm not charging for time. I just don't. I got to pay web hosting fees. I got to pay for the company to help me out. There's some things in there that I got to change up. And, but I formed an LLC. I've got a lot of money tied up into it.
Okay. And for those who are not familiar, it is cyclingva.com. Cycling, CYCLINGVA.com. I do encourage you to visit and leave positive feedback. If you found something useful on the website, leave positive feedback. That would be nice.
You can contact me. There's a contact.
There is a contact link, and there's a captcha on here to make sure you're not a robot, which is great. I'm glad you have that on there. But feedback would be good. I'm
always looking too. If somebody's got a better idea, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Positive feedback is great. it does help with understanding like this labor of love that you enjoy anyway. Other people are appreciating the efforts. So those are, thinking about it more. I would think there'd be some way that you could, I would think that some kind of custom jersey maker company would want to be on there, right? Because you've got so much about clubs and that's my thought. One of the many apparel
I've reached out to Cutaway. He was interested, but the guy's so busy. Starlight is just totally against any kind of advertising. Like I said, I'm going to keep trying. That's the thing in sales. You're going to get a lot of no's before you get a yes.
Right. You only get that yes once. Cutaway. Okay.
No, I like the Cutaway. I like their Cutaway a lot better than Starlight, but Starlight's more popular here, and I didn't say that, but.
They have their own, people who enjoy them. But yes, and Starlight's the one, that I didn't find about Cutaway until, I've shown up in a couple Bryant Park races, and that's when I saw some people wearing Cutaway stuff there. But I knew about Starlight because of Rava, and that's who they had all their stuff through until they switched to Vi 13. I think that's who they're through now.
There's a company over in Europe called Girouard.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're a little bit more expensive, but it's because of the European fabrics they use and stuff. Yeah. But the nice thing about that is you don't have to just like open up a window that you got to fill so many orders. No, you can keep this thing and they'll fulfill. Yeah. So if you got a whole bunch of people get their kits, and then all of a sudden you got a couple of members that waited the last minute and it was too late. Well, they still can go online and
I think
get it.
Girouard lets you do like individual custom kit orders.
Yeah.
Which is great. There was a time I was thinking about getting my own kit, like a custom kit, and I remember looking at Girouard, and that is spelled Jakroo. I assume we're saying this correctly, but it is Girouard. And you can go there and you can see about designing your own kit if you have an interest in doing so. Yes, it is more expensive than if you buy, there's a bulk order of club kits, but you're ordering a custom kit, right?
Yeah, and the fabric, I've got a couple of their jerseys because I'm, again, members of several clubs being part of Cycling Virginia. I do that just as a business practice. Yeah. But they use Girouard, and I love the fabric, and the kits are nice.
So I've asked a lot of people about this as we move away from the website and things like that. I've asked a lot of people about this, and because we all experienced the pandemic in different ways, right? 2020 happened. The pandemic has not disappeared, although its experience is different. How did the pandemic happening, March 2020, February 2020, like how did that impact your cycling experience, if at all, kind of thing? Like
well, what changed? A lot. There weren't group rides, so but it was like back in the day when I was racing. You go out and train. So I did a lot of solo rides, but you know what? Solo rides okay. The group rides are more fun because there's a lot of testosterone or estrogen, one or the other. Yeah. The ladies there's some tough ladies that we ride with, But riding by yourself is good. It clears your mind. It's you can do a lot of things. Think through a lot of things. So I really just enjoyed riding by myself. But I'm glad that COVID is over.
Yeah,
or getting over.
Right. Yeah, it's eased up a bit. I don't ask too many people about this, but I would ask you, like, say you're out somewhere, you're not riding, you're taking a walk, you're doing yard or whatever. Like, do you feel anything when you see a group of cyclists pass? Or are you just like, okay?
I wave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may know them.
That's true. Yeah. It's like, do I know that group? You think like I should be out riding, or you're just like, no, I'm going to have my turn?
Well, it depends on what I've got to do that day. Got to get chores done, and But no, I always I plan time to ride. every day. I mean, there's not a day that doesn't go by that cycling isn't somewhere in my day.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been doing it for a long time, and that I don't want to say that feels new, but it still feels new for me that it's become not very involved. It's not the right word. Ever present, kind of thing. Like I think about it a lot in different fashions: the podcast, the group rides, the trips, to go cycling other places, Zwift, and hasn't taken over life, but it's like a new facet that seems to be creepy into a lot of things,
Yeah, I think about cycling quite a bit. I mean, it even helps me go to sleep at night.
Yeah, just imagine that soft pedaling to your doze off. Do you have a favorite kit? Do you have some kits that you really, really enjoy wearing for whatever reason?
Well, it's not that I like some events I bought the jersey.
Okay.
Now, I don't wear them too often.
Okay.
But when I, because they're really special to me that I actually completed that event. It was, it was really something to be proud of that I did it, And
okay.
So, the Mountain Mama, I've done it twice, and that is a tough event.
Yeah.
I'd love to do the Jeremiah Bishop.
Yeah.
But the kit I like right now, are those, the old Robba kits.
Yeah.
I'm not busting on Robin now, but I'll tell you what, who's ever doing the kit design now, if you've seen it, not too many people actually wear that kit. And everybody's wearing the old kit that when Keith was doing it. I wish they would come out with a nice kit like that again instead of this one that's a little bit.
Is that you're talking about the white and black kit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the colors. It's just the design. It's more masculine. And even it just looks better.
Yeah.
It looks like
your preferred kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like you're a real cyclist, not some foo-foo thing,
Yeah.
But I like the Brew Crew ones that we did. There's a small group of us that we call ourselves the Brew Crew. So we just did a kit this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would like to see that. Is Jeff Nichols still coming out? Is he still?
No, Jeff stopped cycling 3 or 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that.
He was he got behind a wreck.
Oh, really?
And, that shook him up really bad.
Okay. I did not.
Plus,
know.
he's had a few crashes too. So.
Okay. Because I hadn't seen it, so I was wondering.
I really liked cycling with him. Boy, when he was doing a lot, he was strong. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good guy. I didn't know that. But the Brew Crew rides are still going in some fashion or another.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I did not know that. I tried to join those whenever they started downtown or in Churchill at
Yeah, we're not doing too many downtown rides.
Really?
Yeah, we do them out of Hatcher, Triple Crossing Hatcher.
Where's that at?
You know where the Stone Brewery is? We used to do a lot out of Stone Brewery. But if you go from Stone and you go,
I enjoy the Brew Crew rides, but I don't drink beer, so the reference to the brew. But is that the East End? No.
No. Yes, it is the East End.
Okay, so past Rockets, right? Just a little past.
Oh yeah, it's
okay,
past Rockets. That's where Stone is, the big Stone Brewery. Well, if you go a couple blocks up, it's Hatcher Street, and you'll see Triple Cross.
Yes, yeah. Okay, all right, yep. Okay, all right. Because I mix all those names up because again, I don't know them well. But okay, so y'all are meeting. Y'all been doing rides out of there.
Yeah,
okay,
and we change up. We go to different breweries all over the place.
Yeah. But yes, I would join those when it was one of the breweries near downtown, or
we used to go out of Triple Crossing, on Fushi.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the
Union Market was the
Union
other place
Market ride, but that wasn't a brewery. That was Union Market.
Right, yeah, it's a market. Yeah, but those are the ones that I would join the most because that was 3 blocks from my apartment then. So it was it just made sense to just to join that one. That was great. Loved it when it was there. But I'm glad I didn't know y'all were still riding. I may join you all despite not drinking beer at all. Or at least
we get people that don't drink beer because you can still buy soft drinks, eat pizza.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to drink beer.
Don't have to get wasted with the beer. Do you have any memorable cycling events that you've completed? Where you mentioned some jerseys you've gotten that you completed an event, you felt proud of it. Like
Mountains of Misery was
Mountains of Misery.
last year they had it, and it's not that the ride is very difficult. It's just the last 4 miles up that 14% grade.
Yeah.
After you've ridden almost 100,
yeah.
it really just wipes you out. But when you get up to the top, then you get your finisher's jersey, or your not jersey, you didn't get a shirt unless you finished.
Okay.
That's special.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't, how they give T-shirts out.
Yeah, at the start. Yeah.
Here's your goodie bag. You already paid for a T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
Well, this one, you didn't get a shirt unless you finished.
Well, that's interesting.
And it even says it right on there.
Yeah.
Mountains of Misery finisher.
So
that made it extra special. But the Mountain Mama,
yeah.
The Stormy Thunder Ridge I've done since 2014.
Yeah.
And, that one is not really that difficult because it's, you got that 12, almost 13 miles to the top.
Yeah.
But it's only a 6% grade.
Okay.
So it's not like you're doing 8, 10, 11. It's pretty steady, 6%.
Mm-hmm.
It does not really level out.
No.
No, but and it's got some great descents. It's a great ride. It's so beautiful up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're right. It is steady. I remember, John Beckenstein. You know of John Beckenstein?
Yeah.
And he is, and John, I hope you hear this at some point. John is upbeat, and described it. He was like, "Yeah, you can do it." It's like, I think it's like 4% average, like the whole time. Like the way he described the climb in Stormy Thunder Ridge made it seem like, it's fairly easy. You just pedal. It's just steady. It did not feel that way. It did not feel easy at all. And his continuous optimism belittles the difficulties of rides and events.
When you get warmed up, you got 26 miles before you get to the climb. And
Yeah.
the climb's only 12.5 miles. Do not stop at the halfway point.
Oh, really? You don't stop? Okay.
Never,
you keep
man.
going. Really?
You go because there's a rest stop at the top. And the thing is you're already on the incline. If you stop at the halfway point,
it is hard.
You're still on the incline.
It is harder to get started from that little rest stop, which is it's a little bit all over the place. But
then when the descent's down over the down into that, then up the Peaks of Otter, and it's beautiful.
I don't like the descent, actually. I'm not a fan of the Blue Ridge Parkway descent is fine. That's great. Road smooth. The turns in the road are pretty wide. You can see them coming. It's the Peaks of Otter part that I'm not too happy about. That part of the road where you take the left off the parkway, and those roads, as you know, steeper, sharper turns. Can't see them. Not fond of that particular area of the ride. But the rest of it is fine. The rest of it seems to be.
There's another really unique ride I've done 3 times, and it's the Tour de Bland. It's in Bland County.
Tour de Bland, okay.
And that one doesn't get a lot of people there, but it is just a blast.
Yeah.
It is. You can do 77 miles, or you can do the full 100. And the 77 has some really steep climbs. But some really hairy switchbacks when you get over some of these climbs too. But I like it because Bland County is unbelievably beautiful. And the people there are so friendly. I've had really good times there. And several other people I know from here have gone and done it, and they've liked it as well.
Yeah, Tour de Bland. I don't think I've not heard of Bland County, and I'm trying to, and I can't think if I've.
That's way over on the other side. It's south of Roanoke.
Oh yeah. No, I would not end up. Not saying I wouldn't go. Just I would need to have more incentive. Well, personally. Yeah.
That's where I have to say you really got to like to go visit other communities and ride with other people.
Yeah.
Because and I encourage people to do that on the site. If you look at the landing page. again, it's camaraderie. It's meeting new people. It's seeing places you've never been before.
Yeah.
That whole part of the state there, though, is if you're not seeing that, you've not seen Virginia.
Yeah.
It's a different lifestyle. It's laid back, beautiful farmland, real friendly people.
Okay. I will keep that in mind as I consider places to go, and other people think of, events to do in different areas. There's more to see in just Virginia itself. Particularly more cycling events to do.
Yeah.
What's some advice you might have for a new rider?
Join a club.
Really? Okay.
Because you got to ride with other people to learn how to ride in a group.
Yeah.
And so joining a club doesn't matter what level you're at, because if you're a slower pace rider, you're going to ride with those folks that you can ride with and try to improve, and you move up to another group level and so forth if you want to. If not, that's fine.
Yeah.
But at least you're enjoying the sport with somebody else, and you're just not out by yourself. And and then the clubs have different functions. Like today, we had a fundraiser, and so it's a social event.
Yeah. Okay. I think that is solid advice. Someone can join a club, and join that community. Join those other riders.
Yeah, and you get insurance. So that's the other benefit of RABA, or a lot of these other clubs. They have supplemental insurance. So if you get hurt,
or an official ride,
your insurance only covers up so much, but then the club insurance will cover the rest.
That seems like a reason enough.
That paid for itself. It's only like $20 to join RABA. Right. So I was like, hey, where can you find insurance for $20 for a whole year?
Right. Not to mention there's some bike shop discounts, if you remember.
Bike shop discounts, and all the clubs usually have a shop affiliate that you can get discounts from. And we have 3, I think: Pedal Power, Conti's, and Carytown.
Ah, right. Yeah. Well, Dan, I appreciate the information. Thank you again for giving me more information about the Cycling VA website. Again, www.cyclingva.com. I recommend everyone check it out, see about the other events, different clubs in the area. Maybe you're going somewhere in Virginia, you can find out about a different club, chance to ride with that other club, meet some new people. So I do recommend everyone check out the website, leave feedback, positive feedback.
I'll take any feedback.
That's right. Yeah, if you have some positive, some like maybe this could be improved, or a suggestion here, I guess you would be welcome to that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But Dan, I feel like this was short notice. I think we just met like last week, and it was like, let's do the interview. So I appreciate you signing on.
We've met before.
I don't think we talked though. I don't think we talked about anything.
We've ridden together in the club rides and stuff like that.
Yeah, and riding with the A group is new for me. That's why I stayed in the back today, because I was like, I have the deeper dish wheels, and so I feel less confident in high winds. So that's why I kind of hung in the back.
I understood.
Yeah. And so either way, we survived our windy ass ride.
Well, the other thing is too that I could suggest is don't sit in the back, because you know what, you're working a lot more harder if you're in the middle.
Yeah.
If you get up to like. And in a group of 8, if you're right smack dab in the middle, that's a sweet spot, because you're not working that hard. And then as you get closer to the front, and you don't want to pull, just pull out and drop back. But you shouldn't just constantly ride in the back, because you are working a lot harder. So try to conserve energy.
I know there's things I have to do, but I'm also not quite confident yet in my ability to maintain in the A group. So I feel better about dropping off the back than I'm in the middle and slow down. So trying to get more comfortable with that. But I will keep that in mind. Maybe next time I need to ride in the middle.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're going to pull out.
Yeah.
You just signal and just pull out.
We had that experience today. Yeah.
Just don't like try to pull out on an uphill.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, as I said, Dan, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you giving me more info about the website. Hopefully people will check that out and find out about more events. And sharing your... Wait, wait, hail. We got rained on.
Yeah.
Tell me this story about the hail. Like, what was the circumstance?
Well, I toured. I used to do bike touring. So I was riding my bike from Fort Collins to Salt Lake City, Utah. 563 miles. I did that in 3 days. And I'm getting ready to descend down into Salt Lake City, and it started hailing. And we had bigger than pea-size hail.
Yeah.
And it was coming down hard. So I jumped off the bike and I whipped out my panniard and I started wrapping not my panniard, my poncho, and I started wrapping it in the spokes and stuff. And I was grabbing onto the poncho and stuff, and I got underneath the bike and I lifted my bike just a little bit off of me because those things were just coming down hard. So I was laying on the side of the road with a bike on top of me during a hailstorm.
Wait, who else? Was anybody else with you?
No, that was something I did all by myself. And that was back in the day when, again, young and stupid.
But you got it done, man. You got it done and survived the hailing. I would not. But again, that was a big event, a big thing you were doing, rather as opposed to like just a do a group ride, knowing hail was coming. But I wanted to make sure we got that story because I remember hearing you talk about getting hailed on today. So, like I said, Dan, thank you for your time and doing this in kind of short notice. I appreciate you sharing your free, and I appreciate the hard work. As others may not have said so, I appreciate the hard work with putting the website together. I'm sure there's other people that benefit from it, and didn't know who to contact, didn't think about that. So, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
It's a resource.
Appreciate your time.